Hello, my loves. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. I was literally just having a conversation with an orb before I hit record. It was doing some really beautiful streamy dance things, and oh my god, I just love catching them in videos so much. So they might choose to visit again, hopefully during this video. Okay, so today's video is all about Ascension in 2023. Because every year we're gaining a deeper understanding of what ascension is. Every year there are different culprits or factors or helpers to our ascension that come into play, and I've just really noticed a strong theme in 2023 with what is really showing up for us as a species, humanity. And so I wanted to discuss that with you so that everybody can kind of understand what ascension factors are coming into play this year, and you can see those probably in your own life. And before we jump into the video, I just want to remind everybody here to make sure that you are subscribed for new videos every single Sunday on this channel. And I love getting video requests, so please send your requests in as well. And I try to, cover everything that you're interested in. I love getting requests. Also, you're going to want to make sure a couple of other things that you're following me on Instagram for. See the orb that you're following me on Instagram. Sorry, this is super distracting. Hello, little orb. Thank you for visiting. I feel like it's up high. Let me just see. Just leave it like that for a sec. That you're following me on Instagram because there is completely original content there. Oh my goodness, are you seeing this? That was really special. That was, I have no words for what is happening right now. That was like a bird of light that just flew by my face. I can't even believe this right now. This is so beautiful. Like, it was behind me and then it was in front of me. Like, there's just, for all you doubters out there, there's 0% chance that that was dust, okay? Oh my gosh. It like landed in my lap, but there's nothing here. Oh my god. I just love, this is more important than I wanted to talk about anyway, right? Everybody agrees this is now the video. Oh, no, I will continue, but wow. So everything seems so silly in comparison to that divine moment, but I will continue. Follow me on Instagram for like super original content, like especially in my stories where I'm just being silly and goofy in myself. I also would encourage you to sign up for my email list because, as you know, or maybe don't know, I do weekly energy reports and they are bomb ass and they are going out every Monday. It's all free. If you're looking to work with me a little bit deeper than these freebies that I've been mentioning, then I would definitely encourage you to join the Starseed Academy membership because we are doing live events, contests, so much happening every single month. It's brand new stuff in there. All of the resource library of like 200 videos, that's all never before seen stuff. Like, it's never been on YouTube. Like, it's all just it's all just VIP content. And this is like the most divine orb action ever, you guys. Oh my goodness. All right. So obviously, there is some divine presence with us today, which is interesting, not unexpected, because when I go to create videos for you guys, I always create a sacred space and I ask for help. I will connect with my team, God Source, the archangels, and then I connected today with the Galactic Federation of Light. And I said, I'm ready. What do you guys need me to talk about? What are they ready to hear? What's important right now? And then all of this incredible activity. So expect me to be extremely distracted, but happy during this entire experience. Okay. So I'm just going to pull up, I had a couple of notes for what I wanted to discuss with you all. So we're talking Ascension in 2023. So I've got 1, 2, 3, for 5 points. I've got 5 points that I wanted to cover, and things that I just think maybe we could talk about, get some clarity on, just get everybody on the same page, get a little bit deeper into these points. So the first one is, I feel weird having my, like, the ceiling showing, like normally, I mean, that's not, formatted very well, but I don't want to miss any action because it seems to be like up there. So please excuse my not perfect cropped video right now because I just really want to see all this gorgeousness. Okay, so Ascension in 2023. First point, we're going to talk about the Schumann resonance and solar flares. We can't not talk about it. It's super important. So especially if you are not following the Schumann resonance, I just want to let you in on a little secret. It went off the charts, literally. I don't know how long ago that was, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe not even, very recently. By the time you see this, I'd say it's probably 2 weeks ago, where it was not a spike. So normally the Schumann resonance, you follow this chart, right? They have it out of Russia, and there's one other place where they follow it. And what that means is they are tuning into Gaia's heartbeat. Gaia has a heartbeat, okay? She has like a natural, the earth puts off a natural signal, and it's usually around, like, I think 7 hertz of frequency. So very low, but very calm, steady. When I say usually, well, in our history, that's what we've seen it be, right? Because we were all slumbering, and so was she. And so as the ascension and the awakening and the awareness comes in, she is waking up. Gaia literally is raising her frequency, which means becoming more self-aware. So they measure this Schumann resonance, Gaia's heartbeat, in these 2 places in the world. Excuse me for not remembering the second one, but I know that one is Russia. And I have an app, it's just called Schumann Resonance, where you can track this kind of stuff. And normally, if there is a spike, it literally looks like a spike and then back down. Okay, we spike to 80, 60, 70, like we spike around under 100 usually, but we'll have these spikes and everyone feels it almost like a full moon, where you get these, when frequency rises in a huge spike like that and you're hit with like a blast of high frequencies, that can create lots of energy. So some people will feel that as anxiety. Some people will feel that as, I just have so much energy today. I feel so amazing. It's the same feeling, but it's your perception of how you make it feel. You can make yourself feel anxious and awful, or depending on, where your set point frequency is, if you're already in a kind of a high frequency and that hits, you can feel amazing, right? But it definitely, you feel something. It reminds me of the full moon where everybody's a little out of it. So normally it would spike. Well, this was not a spike. This was like 2 to 3 solid days of 190, like way, way, way off the charts. And the graph didn't look like a spike. I'll see if I can insert an image into this video for you. I should be able to do that. I'm pretty sure I have some screenshots of that. Because it was like literally history making. So I'm pretty sure I screenshotted some of it. Instead of a spike, it looked like DNA helix codes. Clearly a DNA activation. It was like Gaia was letting us know so blatantly, here you go, here's a DNA activation. So what causes a DNA activation in us? Rising frequency. Rising frequency, especially when it's held at that high 190 for days on end, will create within us an activation, okay? And so what causes Gaia to do that? Because she kind of facilitates it in humanity, but what facilitates it in her? It's solar flares. So Schumann resonance and solar flares go hand in hand. They're together. So solar flares are also known as CME, coronal mass ejections, CME ejections. And they are when the sun burps. Like, I don't know, like it literally like has like a little explosion, almost like a volcano in the sun. And it shoots this plasma from the sun out into outer space. And the radiation of that and the frequency of that and the light of that, after a short period of time, makes its way to Earth and comes crashing down through Earth's atmosphere. And when it absorbs into the actual Earth itself, it wakes Gaia up. It's like an alarm going off for Gaia. So here we are as humanity receiving the solar flares from above and Gaia's rising Schumann resonance heartbeat from below. And we're like sandwiched in between the two things, right? And so there's no escaping it. It is happening, and all of the forces of nature around us are facilitating an ascension. Okay. Now, a lot of this has to do with, I will make a note for myself to link up the video about the photon belt of light, because it would be a lot for me to try to describe that to you right now. But I can just let you know that there is a photon belt of light. I'm making a note. And it is in a video I describe all about what that means. It's the star in the Pleiades called Alcyone. Earth actually orbits around that star, not Earth, our whole solar system, our sun, and all the, the whole solar system, all the planets. We as a group rotate, is that the right word? I can't think of the word right now. Not gravitate. You know what I mean? We go around the star of Alcyone every so often, and I forget all the facts, but I will link up the video to tell you what all the facts are on that, because I did a very detailed research video for you guys all about when we get into that going around Alcyone, there are points when we have to travel through what's called a photon belt of light. And as Earth and our whole solar system, it's not just Earth, it is our sun. Everything is going to go through this. Everything about our solar system is going to go through this photon belt of light. When we're in the photon belt of light, it's a 2,000-year period to travel through it. When we're in it, that's our golden era, right? So we're just entering into that now. And we are purging like mad all of the darkness and the density and the low frequencies so that we can assimilate, align to this photon belt of light that's surrounding us, because it's natural for the higher frequency of the strength of that photon belt of light to bring us into alignment. Okay. So not just our planet, again, it's our whole solar system. So Gaia is on an ascension path. Our whole solar system is on an ascension path as we enter into this photon belt of light. All of these natural forces like the Schumann resonance and the solar flares and everything kick up because this photon belt of light is affecting everything, including humanity. So it's not just humans, it's also the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, Gaia herself, all the planets around us, our sun. Everything about our solar system will be going through that. I feel like that little visitor is gone and I can probably rebalance myself here. Okay. That was so amazing though. Okay. So that is the first point. That is a little bit more information about the Schumann resonance and solar flares, how they work together to create rising frequency in the animals, the plants, and the species of humans. Everything that is on Gaia's surface rises because she is rising, because the Schumann resonance is rising, because the solar flares are coming down from above. There's an evolution of all of life on Earth. It's not just humans. All of life on Earth is going through an evolution. Okay. Speaking of evolution, that's the next point. Point number 2 is 6D crystalline bodies. Okay, this is what we're working into. This is what we're moving into right now, many of us. So we started the ascension over the last, when did it really kick in? I would say 2020 is when it super kicked in, but for people like me before that, I was already really deep into it in 2012. But we all started with the ascension of our consciousness. First, it happened here. It happened in our becoming more self-aware, becoming more aware of our negativity and trying to make it more positive, becoming aware of things like manifestation, the law of attraction. Our thoughts become things, that we have an aura, that we have chakras, that we have a frequency, that everything in the world has a frequency that can be measured, and we can measure ourselves and see where we fall on the scale and do things to raise our vibration. All of that is 5D. It is the ascension of our invisible stuff, energy and consciousness. Okay. So you would say, so ascension and evolution are so linked that you could interchange those words. So basically 5D was an evolution of consciousness. Okay. 6D, the next step, is an evolution of the physical form, the human. And remember, it's not just us though. It's going to be the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom and our planet herself and our sun. They all went through the 5D, and we're all now going into, which is that awareness. Now we're all going into 6D, which is physical changes in our physical matter. We are evolving into the divine human blueprint. Okay, so that people use words like crystalline to describe what that means, but it is a divine human blueprint. So that is where the ascension moves from up here in your chakra and in your awareness and just in the consciousness. And you've been spending so much time in the 5D that it starts to now move into the body and creates physical changes in your body, literal evolutionary changes. Okay. Now they have proven, you can research this anywhere, that solar flares are what cause physical evolution in every species. When things evolve, solar flares are the largest culprit of that. So the DNA activating, sun activations change our DNA, and something we change, we shift over time, right? So like the next generation is a little different, and then the next generation and the next generation, but we can also evolve in this one lifetime in this body too. And so what that is that physical evolution into the divine human blueprint. What does that look like? No one can say for sure. Because every time we go through this cycle, the photon belt and the golden era, it's a little different every time because we're a little different every time. And so we can't say, oh, we're going to fly, or, oh, we're going to, maybe, we don't know. No one knows. Life is unique every time it evolves. It's not a pattern that can be repeated. It's a unique, beautiful, creative experience, but we are evolving, and there is a divine human blueprint where we are crystalline, crystalline would mean like, this is also something that you can research, but crystalline cellular energy is something that would hold more light, is something that would transmit light more easily, is something that would be like a higher frequency. Think about a crystal and how it refracts light into rainbows, right? And like we're becoming these rainbow warriors. And so it's less dense. Our bodies become less dense, less of that lower vibration in the lower chakras, and we start rising up into these higher frequencies, not just the consciousness anymore, but the physical form now changes. Of course, that does mean ascension symptoms, physical ascension symptoms, where you suddenly can't eat the things that you used to eat, or you become so sensitive that that one glass of wine has you loopy. You become more sensitive. You need less. People have talked about, eating way less food, the higher frequency that their body gets, they don't need as much. And things that you can do to really help speed up this process is spend time in the sun safely. Sun gazing, again, safely. I like to take the sun in through my peripheral. So basically the sun is where it's at. And grounding, laying on the ground. Remember, the two activators are the Schumann, which rises up, and the solar flares. So you need to be outside. You need to be getting outside. You need to be time in the sun. You need to be laying in the grass. You need to be barefoot. You need to be letting the sun hit the top of your head. So all of those things will help you. Okay, so that's the second point, which was 6D crystalline bodies. That's what we're moving into. The third point is we are becoming sovereign creators. And it's more like we're remembering that we are sovereign creators. So sovereign creators is beyond manifestation. I know that we've learned about the law of attraction, and we've learned a lot about manifestation. Like a lot of people like me read the book, The Secret. If you haven't read that yet, it's a great introduction to manifestation. So I remember reading that in like 2010 or something, I don't know. And it was so eye-opening at the time, and it really helped to empower a lot of people. But there's another level that's just entering the planet over the last year or two. And people are starting to talk about it. And it's where they start to say, they're not saying manifestation, they're saying we are sovereign creators. We are sovereign. And it's this really powerful understanding that it's not about thoughts become things. It's not about think about what you want so hard until it happens. It's about become the version of yourself that you want to be. It's about all the little choices every day that you make. If I want to be my happiest, healthiest, most wealthy, abundant, joyful self, my highest self, then I need to, in every little moment, choose to be that person. Because when I become her, then my frequency matches that and everything just snaps into place and I align to that highest timeline, right? So it's all in the little choices. Well, how would she react to this or that that's happening? What would she eat? How would she spend time in between clients? Like for me, would I go for the walk? Would I exercise? Or would I scroll Instagram? Like it's all those little tiny, what would I eat? How would I dress? How would I talk to people? What would I choose to do with my free time? What would I listen to? What would I read? Like, think about that and then make the small choices create the larger change. If you can visualize the version of you that you want to be, which already exists because all versions of you already exist. You don't have to create that version of you. You just have to align to it. So start acting like that version of you, and you will very quickly not only call in the alignment to that version of you, but call in the alignment to that timeline, that life. That's your highest timeline. And so that is sovereign creators. And the thing is, we have these offshoot personal timelines. Yes, there's a collective timeline of humanity, but you don't have to live there, and you shouldn't. You can create a higher timeline over here to the side, like I have, that is that 5D, 6D, even higher timeline, where you are living in that frequency of love and oneness. And you only have to dip back down into the main timeline when you have to deal with the world, like, oh, I'm grocery shopping. Oh, now I'm back in my sacred space. Like you live up here, and then you just dip back in when you have to, driving places, traveling, airports, grocery stores. Maybe you tune into world events here and there to remember that there's a world out there and what's going on. Or maybe you have to go to work. Maybe you're still in the 9 to 5 or school, and you're interacting with others. That's all dipping back in to the collective timeline. You want to make sure, though, that you come back to your own personal timeline, which is why time alone and self-care and sacred spaces are so important. The power of your own personal timeline is that you get the life that you choose and that you are not trapped in the collective. Okay. Because a lot of frustration and fear comes from people thinking, oh no, whatever these crazy collective of humanity choose, we all have to experience it. That's not true. You are not living there. You only visit once in a while. You have your own timeline. The other beauty of being a sovereign creator like this and having your own timeline is that you help the collective. Because think about it, like the collective timeline is here, and everybody's offshoot personal timelines are like balloons pulling it up, because you can't disconnect from humanity because you are in a human, and because you cannot disconnect from the main collective timeline of humanity because you are human. You have energetic cords to humanity, the collective of them, and to their timeline, and you can't cut those. You can't. You are so connected. However, you can have this other experience and only visit that when you want to. And by having this higher timeline, you lift everyone up. So the more of us that focus on having our offshoot timeline be as high vibe as possible, the more we actually raise the collective. Because you can't walk into the collective and change it from in there. You have to change it from up here. Just like you can't change your reality from the outside, right? We all understand that. That's what sovereign creator means. Trying to manipulate your reality out here on the outside is like going to a movie in a theater and walking up to the movie screen and trying to change things on the movie screen. That's not going to work. It's just a projection. There's nothing really there. Because the movie screen, just like your life, is just a reflection of what's going on inside. Right? So your life is a movie screen. You can't change things out here. Stop wasting time trying to manipulate reality. Your heart is the projector. You have to go into the projector and change it here. And that's why I said, become that version of yourself that you truly want to be. Heal your nervous system. Big one. That was a big one for me. Get out of fight or flight. That's the first thing you need to do. And then start being courageous and brave and walking into your dreams and stepping out of your comfort zone and the purge of all the unaligned things and letting things go and making space for new people, new opportunities, new miracles, all those things. It all comes from in here. It's how you feel. It's your emotional state. It's your belief structures. That is all creating your projection of life. You cannot change it from the outside. You can't. And that is the biggest time waster. And that's what everyone thinks. Oh, I need to make more money. So I'm going to go out here and try to do all these things. But if you never change your capacity to hold more within, you might get a little more money and lose it. You'll keep losing it because you haven't changed within. Okay. So we'll move on from that. So that was sovereign creators, this new stronger, deeper understanding of manifestation. Okay, the fourth point for Ascension in 2023 is breaking up with fear completely. Like fully done with that frequency and living in fear in all ways. So in full trust, we thrive. And what does that mean? How can you move into full trust? The first thing is to make friends with the present moment and to understand that your life, your path, and you are being divinely guided from the higher realms. You are being divinely guided. Everything in your life is divinely orchestrated and divinely timed. It is all divine. There's a plan in place, and it's so much bigger than you realize. It's like every single thing that comes onto your path, it's not for no reason. There's a deeper meaning to everything, even the little stuff like a traffic jam. You get into a traffic jam, you get stuck in traffic, you get frustrated, that's resistance. Resistance creates suffering in the body. You're going to hurt yourself. You get into a traffic jam and you think, if I was in full trust, then this must be for me. How is this serving me? Well, obviously, I'm learning about patience. I'm learning about letting people in, which is a generous spirit and creates money. I'm learning about all of these lessons about working together, about how time is not real, about how I can, by being more present, slow down time. Presence and time are connected. But there might be something even bigger in that traffic jam. It might be that if you had continued on at the speed that you were at, 5 minutes up the road, you would have been in a horrific crash. And you are just that protected, that they slow everybody down just for you. If you start viewing the world like everything is happening for you and not to you, that the universe and life itself and all of your guides and all these invisible forces are guiding you every step of the way, are taking care of you, are bringing you to your happiest, most abundant and healthy life, to the most joy, that they're constantly just redirecting you, then what could you possibly have to fear? There's no fear in a life like that. And there's no resistance either, because you are in full trust, you are in full surrender, and you live more like just in curiosity, like, I wonder what that was. I wonder why that person just said that to me. I know there's a reason. I trust. I wonder what I was supposed to receive from that. Or I wonder why this happened. Or I wonder, just get curious. If you can't celebrate it all right just yet, then at least just be curious instead of resisting it. That's a new way of living. That is breaking up with fear. That is the best way right there. And so, can you trust everything that comes on your path is meant for you, whether it's like medicine or a redirection or a lesson or a blessing, a straight up blessing? Can you just trust that you needed it? And you don't have to even understand why. Can you trust to that level? Can you surrender? Can you accept the present moment? Can you live in the present moment? Can you be grateful for it? That's the next level. Of course, after acceptance is gratitude. Thank you, traffic jam. I trust that this is all for a reason. Thank you for helping me to stretch my trust. Thank you for helping me to lean into my trust. Like whatever it is, you're receiving something, I promise you. Can you also trust the purge? I know that we talked about this a lot in my last video. If you haven't seen the July energy report yet, this is really kind of off the backs of that video. So I would really suggest you watching the July energy report. It was so friggin' potent. And in it, we talked a lot about the purge. It was the first point, actually. Can you trust the purge too? Because then you don't get into fear. Can you break up with fear to the point where you trust everything, including something as uncomfortable as a purge, which is an ascension symptom? As you raise your frequency, as you align to your highest self, as everyone that has ever worked with me experiences, work with me long-term, not just a single session. But if you work with me long-term in my membership or in one of my containers, I literally have to have a disclaimer now. People are calling me walking Moldavite, because what I do is align people to their highest self frequency. I hold the intention so strongly that every single person that I work with will align to their highest self frequency. And when that happens, when that even begins to happen, the purge, because as they're rising, all of the things in their life, people, places, situations, all the things that can't support that new frequency, jump overboard. And it's a mess. It's a mess. Holy heck. Purging is so uncomfortable when you're purging jobs, people, health stuff comes up, homes, locations, moving, all the stuff, habits. It all needs to purge. And there's this really uncomfortable space where you're in between, where something's leaving, but the new thing's not there yet. And you really don't know what the heck is going on, especially when it comes to like, being nudged right out of your 9 to 5 and you're supposed to trust. And you're like, what the hell? That's a strong purge and redirection. Can you trust even then? Can you break up with fear completely? Can you trust the purge? Can you trust the direction or even the non-direction, that when you're in that weird in between, you don't know what's happening yet? Can you trust in your path so implicitly because you trust in yourself? Because you trust that you did a great job writing your soul contracts, that you were absolutely on track, that you have all the guidance and invisible forces supporting you, guiding you, directing you. Can you remove all resistance to what the present moment wants to bring you? That's a new way of living. If you lived like that, you couldn't help but be on your highest timeline. You couldn't help but be laughing and joyful all the time. You couldn't help but be ridiculously wealthy and abundant, joyful, healthy. You'd have it all. I guarantee you'd have it all, because the only thing that stops you from having it all is yourself, your resistance. Okay, last point. Nothing can stop this. Nothing can stop ascension. That's the reality. And that's the understandings that we now have in 2023. Nothing can stop the ascension path, because Gaia is on the move. She is, it's not just Gaia though, it is literally our whole solar system is entering into that photon belt of light, and no dark force in this planet can stop it. No reptilians, no dark agendas, no, I don't know what they're called, white hats, dark hats, none of that nonsense can stop something so huge. All that can happen is a purge, and we just see all this corruption come to light, but nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop you from evolving. Nothing stopped your evolution of consciousness, no matter what kind of, it actually helped it. Like when they put all kinds of crazy rules in place and try to COVID everybody, all it did was wake everybody up faster. So nothing stopped the evolution of the consciousness, 5D, that's 5D. So nothing will stop the evolution of the physical form, which is 6D. Because nothing can stop Gaia on her path. Nothing can stop the solar flares. It's not going to, it will never be stopped. This is a cycle. So again, I'm linking up that video. It's called Ancient Civilizations Part 1. And I talk all about how golden eras come to be, this photon belt of light, how when it's time and we're being called to it, no force on earth or this universe or any universe can stop it from happening. Nothing can stop that. That is like beyond earth. That is like heavens are moving to create this. It cannot be stopped. Earth is a beautiful school that is used for divine purposes, and nothing will stop that either. So that is my last point, that nothing can stop this from happening. So whatever fear mongering you come across, even if it's in the spiritual community around, if we don't, I'm so worried we're not going to make it if we don't do this, this, and this. Well, we will absolutely make it, because there's no stopping it. We're already beyond 5D and we're going into the 6D. We are like so far into it. We're already entering the photon belt of light. We've already got more than a toe in. Nobody knows for sure. Like we can't zoom out that far, I don't think, to see. Maybe astrally we could, and do an astral mission to see how far into the photon belt of light is our solar system, especially Earth. We are definitely partially in there, if not fully just stepped in. And that is why in 2020 everything erupted, because that is a purge. You can see it. It's you can just see it. Anyway, this is all something you can research. The photon belt of light, you can research it to death. It will make you feel better. It will help you see that it's a cycle that cannot be stopped. And again, I will link up that video for you, but let me know in the comments below how you feel. Like, which one of these points are you working on right now? Are you really trying to become that sovereign creator? Are you really trying to break up with fear and really be present in the moment, accepting all that comes to you? Are you experiencing a lot of physical ascension symptoms, meaning you're moving from 5D to 6D? Are you experiencing a lot of reactions from the solar flares and the Schumann? Are you like me and it's all of the above? Let me know in the comments below. Also drop your video requests. I'd love to hear them. I'm so happy that you guys were here to see all of that incredibly beautiful orb action. I'm so happy to have it on video, because something like that has happened to me before with the bird of light, which is now what I call it. and I wasn't recording, and I was like, oh, I told you guys about it, I'm sure, in somewhere either on Instagram or on this video, but it's so different when you see it literally fly. Like, I'm going to be rewinding that and watching that again. But other than that, thank you so much for continuing to support me and to support each other. If you're looking for a community, join the membership. I mean, other than that, just hang on for this beautiful ride that we're going through. We're halfway through the year, and that was a big half. And we've got a really wild ride ahead of us. And yeah, so check out my July energy report. Check out this video about the photon belts of light. I'm sure I also have like a 2023 predictions video in there somewhere that you can check out. And other than that, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And before we go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. I love you so much, beautiful star seeds. Have a great day. Bye.